Hey party people from the fifth dimension, this is your homeboy Angelo, and it's wonderful how my street that dead ends into the park where you see me hanging out a lot, it gets very busy. There's a lot more foot traffic in the summer months because people are out, you know, the weather's nicer, it's warmer. I shouldn't say it's nicer, but it's definitely warmer. It's more conducive to being out and less clothes and feeling the warm weather. We've had some beautiful days recently, and I'm so happy that you're here with me right now and sharing this moment. There's wildflowers, lots of roses. The heat wave that we just had for 3 days, it was over 90 degrees, almost like 95 to 100 for 3 days. And we're not used to that here in the Pacific Northwest, at least not very often. We get that like once a year, maybe twice, and people stay in on their air conditioners. They put them in the window because we don't have a lot of homes with air conditioners in the homes built in. So I lug mine up from the basement every year about June, July, turn it on for a few days here and there, and just fine. Everything's good. So today, the topic, well, a few topics, but one topic I want to speak on today is love, finding love inside of yourself, finding love for people that you may be upset with. I truly believe that everything that we see in another person is something that is a reflection of ourselves. I know that sounds cliche a lot, but everything that we experience, like if we feel triggered by somebody, it's because it's a part of ourselves that we're not comfortable with, and it's shining back at us. If we're okay with our lives, then we're not going to be easily triggered. I've said before that people that are easily triggered are easily manipulated. So do we want to be manipulated? No, we don't. So controlling our emotions through self-care, being okay with our own self, having healthy boundaries, and doing the work, meditating every day, sitting with yourself, writing it down, making notes, intentions, setting intentions, and putting it into writing or speaking it out loud or telling it to someone that you trust or someone that you love, it seals the deal more. It holds you more accountable to your thoughts that are otherwise maybe just going around and around in your mind and not really settling. So I've had a little tumult in my life. You know, things have been a little tumultuous in some relationship aspects of my life. Not too bad. I mean, I'm feeling pretty good. Things are going smooth. But I found there's been some conflict in my life, which is it's a sign to myself to renegotiate some of the perspectives that I have in my life and to be more loving and more forgiving. First and foremost for myself, because all love is self-love, but also understanding that people are where they are, and I still love every human being on this planet. I know that sounds lofty, it sounds big, and it doesn't mean that I have to love their behavior or want to spend time around that behavior, but it still means that I do love everybody, because when you have more love, you can have more power in your life, you can have more abundance in your life, and you can accept things instead of judging yourself and others. And that's one thing I've worked through a lot in my life is judgment. Judging myself, judging other people, and then that manifests in recent years as anger, being angry. And anger is so self-destructive. It hurts the people around us, it hurts ourselves, and it's just not a good way to be. So being accepting, holding that space, holding that love, that's what it's all about. And that seems like an oversimplified message to some people out there. I get it. But when you really think about it, how in control of your emotions are you? Do you get triggered easily? When someone says something that you don't like, do you think, I don't like that, screw them, they don't get me, they don't understand me, and all these kind of violent thoughts come to mind? Or do you think, why are they saying this? Are they trying to help me? Or are they hurt and trying to hurt me? Maybe it's a combination. Who knows? It's hard to sum it all up in theory, but we can affect change in our own lives. We cannot affect change in the lives of anyone else. We can inspire other people, and people can credit us for things that they've learned from us and habits that they've picked up from watching us, but really we can't do anything except impact our own behaviors, our own thoughts, and our own actions towards our emotions have the power to control and dictate how those manifest or show up in our life from day to day. So I implore you to take a look in the mirror, understand that you are a human being. You make mistakes, or you do things that maybe you regret later on. But do you find yourself in a situation with another person? Maybe it's a partner, maybe it's a friend, and you're always the one who's apologizing. Or most often, you feel that way anyways. You feel like you're not appreciated. Well, is that a real thing, or are you not receiving the appreciation that maybe they're giving you? Maybe it's both. And if you feel like you're not getting what you want in any relationship, it's time to walk. It's time to step out. And a lot of people just go to find somebody else. If they're in a romantic relationship, or they have a friend and they feel betrayed, or they feel hurt, or they feel... First of all, don't be a victim to anyone else's behaviors or actions. You can walk away, you can leave, and you can also transmute. You can communicate through that. If it's somebody that you've known a while and that you love a lot, you can have a conversation about it without being triggered and without getting angry or sad or distant. You can say, in a way that you are powerful, that you are not fazed by somebody else's. Maybe you see it as their shortcomings, or they're being mean, or they're being rude, or they're being whatever you think they are. When you're thinking that way, that's violent communication and thought, to think that everybody else is doing something. If you can't handle criticism in your life, then how do you ever expect to grow? Maybe you don't want to take the advice that someone gave to you. Maybe you're like, I didn't ask for your advice. By the same token, though, when someone gives me advice, whether I want it or not, I say thank you, and I'll consider it. Thank you. And then I consider it. I sit with it for a little while. If you're quick to react and triggered very quickly, that's hard to stay in that love frequency when you're like that, because you're quick, you're assuming, you're making assumptions. And one of the 4 agreements we talk about on this program a lot is don't make assumptions. You don't know what another person's coming from. You can suppose, and if you're supposing a lot that your friend or your partner is out to get you, or they're trying to get you, why are you with them in the first place? And why have you been with them for this long? And why do you keep going back? It's either that you're easily triggered, or they are not right for you, or a combination of the two. You can just love harder. Not getting angry is a good thing, because if you're quick to anger, you're quick to be manipulated. Quickly triggered, quickly manipulated. So we had a lot of people in the last few years in our society, a general population of people that are very triggered and very afraid and living in a low frequency a lot of their days. And those people have been very easily manipulated. So let's come from a love frequency, a gratitude frequency, a giving frequency. How much do you give? Do you take more than you give? Think about that in your own life. It's not for anyone else to decide except you. Do you take more than you give? Do you feel in your life generally, and be honest with yourself, do you feel like you're a victim to this life? That you had you got the short end of the deal, short end of the stick in this life, that you never caught a break, parents were mean to you, all your relationships were bad, everyone else is out to get you. That's an extreme example. Some people wouldn't say that, but they still act that way in some capacity perhaps. Or are you like, thank you, God. Thank you, God, for this day. Thank you so much for this day. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm in this game called life, and I'm winning every single day, even when I'm down, even when I'm out, even when I'm sick, even when there's doubt. I am living 5D, baby, 5D party people. Peace to you, love to you. We'll see you next time. Have a great night. Have a great day.